All right, Dewey Dell, which is the daughter of the woman that just died, the one that that's cooking, They ask, he could do so much for me if he just would. He could do everything for me. It's like everything in the world for me is inside a tub full of guts. So that you wonder how there can be any room in it for anything else very important. He has a big tub of guts, and I am a little tub of guts. And if there is not any room for anything else important in a big tub of guts, how can there be room in a little tub of guts? But I know it is there because God gave women a sign when something has happened bad. It's because I am alone. If I could just feel it, it would be different because I would not be alone. But if I were not alone, everybody would know it. And he could do so much for me that I would not be alone, that I could be all right alone. I would let him come in between me and Leif, like Darl came in between me and Leif. And so Leif is alone too. He is Leif and I am Dewey Dell. And when mother died, I had to go beyond and outside of me and Leif and Darl to grieve because he could do so much for me and he don't know it. He don't even know it. She's talking about Peabody, the doctor. He got money probably. So who's Darl? So Darl was like the son-in-law? The son-in-law, like Darl came in between me and Leif. That's not her brother. Sounds like Darl sounds like a man coming in between her and a relationship she already had with Leif. So Leif is alone too. He is Leif, and I am Dewey Dwell, and I am Dewey Dwell. He is Leif, and I am Dewey Dell. And when mother died, I had to go beyond and outside of me, and Leif and Darl to grieve because he could do so much for me. So we'll see. From the back porch, I cannot see the barn. Then the sound of Cash's sawing comes in from that way. It is like a dog outside the house, going back and forth around the house to whatever door you come to, waiting to come in. He said, I worry more than you do, and I said, you don't know what worry is, so I can't worry. I try to, but I can't think long enough to worry. I light the kitchen lamp. The fish, cut into jagged pieces, bleeds quietly into the pan. I put it into the cupboard quick, listening into the hall, hearing. It took her 10 days to die. Maybe she don't know it is yet. Maybe she won't go until Cash, or maybe until Jewel. I take the dish of greens in from the cupboard and the bread pan from the cold stove and I stop watching the door. Where's Vardamon? Cash says. In the lamp, his sawdusted arms look like sand. I don't know. I ain't seen him. Peabody team run away. See if you can't find Vardamon. The horse will let him catch him. Well, tell them to come to supper. I cannot see the barn. I said I don't know how to worry. I don't know how to cry. I tried, but I can't. After a while, the sound of the saw comes around, coming dark along the ground in the dust dark. Then I can see him going up and down the plank. You come in to supper, I say. Tell him. He could do everything for me. He don't know it. He is his guts, and I am my guts. I am Laffy's guts. That's it. I don't see why he didn't stay in town. I think one of them's a kid. I know they talked about there was a young grandkid around. We are country people, not as good as town people. I don't see why he didn't. Then I can't see the top of the barn. The cow stands at the foot of the path, lowing. When I turn back, Cash is gone. I carry the buttermilk in. Pa and Cash and he are at the table. Where's that big fish Bud caught, sister? He says. I set the milk on the table. I never had no time to cook it. Plain turnip greens is mighty spindling eating for a man my size, he says. Cash is eating. About his head, the print of his hat is sweated into his hair. His shirt is blotched with sweat. He has not washed his hands and arms. You ought to take time, Pa says. Where's Vardamon? I go toward the door. I can't find him. Here, sister, he says. Never mind about the fish. It'll save, I reckon. Come on and sit down. I ain't minding it, I say. I'm going to milk before it sets to rain. Milk the cow. Pa helps himself and pushes the dish on, but he does not begin to eat. His hands are half closed on either side of his plate, his head bowed a little, his awry hair standing into the lamplight. He looks like right after the maul hits the steer, and is no longer alive, and don't yet know that it is dead. But Cash is eating, and he is too. You better eat something, he says. He is looking at Pa. Like Cash and me, you'll need it. Hey, you better eat something, he says. Hey, aye, Pa says. He rouses up like a steer that's been kneeling in a pond and you run at it. She will not begrudge me to it. When I am out of sight of the house, I go fast. The cow lows at the foot of the bluff. She nuzzles at me, snuffing, blowing her breath in a sweet, hot blast through my dress against my hot nakedness, moaning. You gotta wait a little while. Then I'll tend to you. She follows me into the barn where I set the bucket down. She breathes into the bucket, moaning. I told you, you just got to wait now. I got more to do than I can tend to. The barn is dark. When I pass, he kicks the wall. A single blow. I go on. The broken plank is like a pale plank standing on end. And I can see the slope, feeling the air moving on my face again, slow, pale, with lesser dark, and with empty scene, the pine clumps blotched up the tilted slope, secret and waiting. The cow in silhouette against the door nuzzles at the silhouette of the bucket, moaning. Then I pass the stall, I have almost passed it. I listen to it, saying for a long time before it can say the word, and the listening part is afraid that there may not be time to say it. I feel my body, my bones and flesh beginning to part and open upon the alone, and the process of coming unalone is terrible. Leif, 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 Leif. I lean a little forward, one foot advanced with dead walking. I feel the darkness rushing past my breast, past the cow. I begin to rush upon the darkness, but the cow stops me, and the darkness rushes on upon the sweet blast of her moaning breath, filled with wood and with silence. Vardaman, you Vardaman. He comes out of the stall. You darn little sneak, you darn little sneak. He does not resist. The last of rushing darkness flees whistling away. What? I ain't done nothing. You darn little sneak. My hands shake him hard, and maybe I couldn't stop them. I didn't know they could shake so hard. They shake both of us, shaking. I never done it, he says. I never touched him. I wonder touch what. My hand stopped shaking him, but I still hold him. What are you doing here? Why didn't you answer when I called you? I ain't doing nothing. You go on to the house and get your supper. He draws back. I hold him. You quit now. You leave me be. What were you doing down there? You didn't come down here to sneak after me. I never. You quit now. I didn't even know you was down there. You leave me be. I told him, leaning down to his face, filled it with my eyes. He's about to cry. Go on now. I done put supper on and I'll be there soon as I milk. You better go on before he eats everything up. I hope that team runs clean back to Jefferson. I hope that team runs clean back to Jefferson. He killed her, he says. He begins to cry. Hush. She never hurt him and he come and killed her. Hush, he struggles. I told him, hush. Also, he attacked the fucking doctor that left. He killed her. The cow comes up behind us moaning. I shake him again. You stop it now. Right this minute. You're fixing to make yourself sick and then you can't go to town. You go on to the house and eat your supper. I don't want no supper. I don't want to go to town. We'll leave you here then, lest you behave. We will leave you. Go on now, before that old green eating tub of guts eats everything up from you. He goes on, disappearing slowly into the hill. The crest, the trees, the roof of the house stand against the sky. The cow nuzzles at me, moaning. You'll just have to wait. What you got in you ain't nothing to what I got in me, even if you are a woman too. She follows me. She follows me, moaning. It's pretty cool the way she describes the cow. Then the dead, hot, pale air breathes on my face again. He could fix it all right if he just would, and he don't even know it. He could do everything for me if he just knowed it. The cow breathes upon my hips and back. Her breath warm, sweet. Stertorous, Stertorous. Then the cow breathes upon my hips and back. Her breath warm, sweet. Stertorous, moaning. The sky lies flat down the slope upon the secret clumps beyond the hill. Sheet lighting stains upward and fades. The dead air shapes the dead earth, and the dead darkness further away than seen shapes the dead earth. It lies dead and warm upon me, touching me naked through my clothes. I say, you don't know what worry is. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether I am worrying or not, whether I can or not. I don't know whether I can cry or not. I don't know whether I have tried or not. I've tried to or not. I feel like a wet seed, wild in the hot, blind earth. All right, that was the end of Dewey. I think it was Dewey Dell, right? Yeah, end of Dewey Dell.